Hello. If you're watching this, I heard that you want to get into Magic the Gathering, but you don't know where to start. You don't know how much money you want to spend, this, that, the third. Well, I'm here to just give you my opinion on 5 commanders that are budget friendly that you can slowly upgrade through time, or if you just want to keep it budget friendly. These are also ones that I have lost to, or have at least done really well against decks that I have put hundreds of dollars into. So, starting off, we're going to go in order of the color pie. So, Wooburg, which is white, blue, black, red, green. We're going to start off with white. Now, white has a lot of choices, and I mean a lot of choices you can pick from for budget commanders. But the one that stuck out to me that I think a lot of people have a lot of fun with is Lightpaws Emperor's Voice. It's a 2-drop, 1 generic, 1 white, legendary creature, Fox Advisor, 2 power, 2. What's the other word? Toughness. I always forget that word. But it has an ability that says whenever an aura you control enters, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to that aura with a different name than each aura you control. Put that card onto the battlefield, attach to Lightpaws, then shuffle. So, this deck is very Voltron, which what that is you keep assembling parts to make your commander, which is Lightpaws, bigger. I hope I put the card somewhere over. See the card as I'm talking about. But there's a lot of white auras that just are really insanely good. There's ones that give you protection from all colors, protection from creatures, protections from I don't know if there's one for non-combat imps. I don't think there is, but there's one that changes the typings or add typings to it. It gives it more. It just basically you're gonna hit as hard as you can with Lightpaws, and it's just really good to have the auras. There's auras that let you bring your commander back. And I wish I could remember the names of them. Should have probably researched this, but I just wanted to make this video because I feel like it was a good idea to make it before I forget about it. But Lightpaws is actually really good when it comes to cycling through cards. So obviously, whenever you cast 1 aura, you get 2 auras. So the thing that a lot of people have agreed on when it comes to playing Lightpaws is they like the aspect of you thin your deck with every aura you play. So you pay 2 to cast 1 aura. Well, guess what? The ability triggers because it entered. Now you're going to go search for one that's equal or less, throw it on Lightpaws as well. So you're essentially getting 2 cards for the price of 1 every time, as long as it's an aura card. Overall, like I said, this card has done numbers. And keep in mind, the prices of the commander are probably going to be the most expensive cards in your deck when it comes to budget. I think there's one that's like $8, like $5 to $8. Lightpaws is roughly $5 to $8 depending on what variant you want of her, and I'm assuming you don't want like the rare one, you just want a basic one. The most like cheap one I think is $2, $2. Most expensive is 8 to 9, but it's within the range of what artwork you want. Lightpaws is very fun. I highly suggest playing it. Very fun deck if you want to swing out and not use equipment but just use auras, because there are cards within white that bring back all your auras and attach them to the creatures that you control, if not just one creature. Very fun. But moving right along, so I don't keep you for too long, we're going to go into blue, because that's the next color in Wooburg, which is white, blue, black, red, green. This is a pet card of mine. I wouldn't say a pet card, I'd say a pet deck. A pet deck of mine that as soon as I saw it, I very much enjoyed it. It came out in the Brothers War expansion for Magic the Gathering. And like I said, as soon as I saw it, my brain started just firing off ideas, and that's what I love about Magic, is when I see a certain card, my brain just starts going. This one is called Drafna, Founder of Lotnam. It is 1 generic, 1 blue. Legendary creature, human artificer advisor. It has 2 power, 1 toughness. Now, get it right off the bat, you can build this plethora of ways, but it has 2 activated abilities, which means you either have to tap it, put mana into it, or do something in order to activate the ability. It has 1 generic in blue. Return target artifact you control to owner's hand. Now, you might think, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to return an artifact I control to my hand? Well, let's say you have a big artifact creature that you don't want to die. Bounce it back to your hand. Guess what? Not only do they lose a spell, but you get to keep that card. And when it comes to blue, there's a lot of things in blue, just artifact decks in general, but blue has a lot of cards that make artifacts cheaper, whether it's by 1, 2, I think the max I've seen was 3. So you're going to get a lot of value out of that. There's a lot of artifacts that say when this card enters or leaves the battlefield, so you returning it to your hand will trigger it because it's leaving the battlefield. So there's a lot of artifacts that give you a lot of good. One that I know for a fact is really nice in this is called Solemn Simulacrum. It is a 4-drop, I believe, artifact creature, 2 power, 2 toughness. When Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield tapped. Then, when this creature dies, you draw a card. So you can easily copy it. Guess what? Someone's targeting it. I don't want to draw a card right now. Return it to my hand. Guess what? Next turn, get to do it again. Or you can cast it. In response to you casting it, 3 generic mana tapped, tap Drafna. You can now copy it to get 2 Solemn Simulacrum. So when they enter, you get 2 lands instead of 1. Drafna has a really, really good ability. You can make him real cheap. He's 30 cents is the cheapest, and I think I saw $2 is the highest. He's very cheap for the commander card. There's a lot of, and I mean a lot of cheap artifacts that you can use, artifact creatures, whether it's just colorless creatures, blue artifact creatures. You can easily make this deck, I want to say, $60 or less, because you do not need all those high-powered cards. You do not need a lot of high-powered, like, oh, draw this, or go look for this. No, there's just artifacts that just are super cheap that do really good things, in my opinion, or even make their own converted mana cost less because of you having so many. But with that, we're going to move on right again, going on to black. This one's very simple. Ayara, First of Locthwain. Black, black, black. So you need 3 black mana or 3 swamps. Legendary creature, Elf Noble. 2 power, 3 toughness. Whenever Ayara, First of Locthwain, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. Tap. Sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. I literally lost, or I can't remember if I lost this game or almost lost this game, to a guy who just bought this card, went to his house, and just put all of his bulk black cards into his Ayara deck. Now, this doesn't say non-token, so any kind of black creature, whether it's a black token that you make, a black creature that you summon, or something that changes the color of it, because there are cards that change the color or like the creature typing, but literally you can just play a card for, let's say, 4 mana. Boom. When it enters, it makes 2 black tokens. Boom. Your opponent's just now lost 3 life on your turn, and you gain 3 life. Top of that, you can tap her, sacrifice another black creature. You can sacrifice one of your small 1/1 tokens and draw a card. There's a draw engine on her. She's super good. Literally, you just put any black creatures. They don't even have to really mold together well. But as a budget commander, easy. Like, I think what she's the one that I was talking about that's more expensive. She is, what's it say here, about $8. The most expensive one, obviously, is $500 because there's like this alternate, like, serialized artwork of her. But that's probably the most expensive card you're gonna pay for in the deck. Is she's a strong commander. She's really good. Like I said, you don't even have to have synergy with life gain and life loss. You can just put creatures that are just black creatures in there. I'm pretty sure you can just run a mono black zombies deck with her if you wanted to. And she's not even a zombie. But like I said, overall, very fun. I loved playing against the guy in Commander when he played this because there's just synergies in the deck that you don't even think about because you're just like, oh, okay, you just lose a life, whatever. Obviously, you can put in the enchantments that when a target or when an opponent loses life, you gain life, and then you gain life, target opponent loses life. You know, there's infinite combos in black with life gain and life loss. But I think she's just really fun, especially if you make a bunch of tokens in her or you have like, what's the word? I can't think of it, but it's basically there's a creature named Gravecrawler that costs 1. I believe he is a 1/1 zombie creature or creature zombie who his one ability is you can cast him for 1 black from your graveyard. So you just keep bringing him back from the graveyard and sacrificing him every turn to draw a card off Ayara. Plus, trigger Ayara, so every time you summon him or cast him, your opponent loses a life, you gain a life. So it's really fun. It's really cool. There's other cards that work great with it. One of my favorite cards of all time is Knight of the Ebon Legion. I do believe he is a 2-drop, or is he a 1? He's a 1-drop. He's 1 black mana. He's a 1/1. I think he's is he a vampire knight with the abilities whenever an opponent loses 3 or more life on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on him. And then he has an ability for 4, I think it is. 2. Was it 2? Was it 2 generic black where he gets +3/+3 and death touch. Very fun card. One of my favorite cards to play with. Oh, he's super cool. But yeah, IR is very simple. Another great commander that you can get for a budget. Really love her. You can just, like I said, if you have bulk cards that are all black creatures, just throw them in the deck. They work. Next up is everyone's favorite little just psycho, I should say, is Krenko Mob Boss. This is going to be the mono red deck. It's 2 generic, red, legendary creature, Goblin Warrior with 3 power, 3 toughness. I actually forgot he was 3/3. I thought he was a 2/2. He has 1 ability, tap. So you tap Krenko specifically. Create X 1/1 red creature tokens where X is the number of goblins you control. Now, this one, you can find them for like $1.50, $1, depending on. Most expensive version of them is what, $20? Yeah, because it's the like promo cards or the ones that have like this really cool artwork. He's super simple. Just play a bunch of cards that say goblins. There are some goblins that go past the $5 mark, which you don't even really need them for him to work. You can just play other cards that say whenever a creature enters the battlefield, deal 1 damage to each opponent, 2 damage to each opponent. Well, guess what? If you make 16 of them with one creature on the field that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, deal 1 damage, that's 16 damage of you just creating stuff. Now, you could do Purphoros. He is a $20 card, and if that's where you want to spend a majority of your budget, go ahead. He is same thing, essentially. When a creature enters the battlefield, 2 damage to each opponent. He's one of the ones that does more damage. But overall, just play goblins and play things that be like, oh, whenever a creature attacks, do this because of all the goblins you have. If it says goblin or goblins or shares a creature type, just play it. There's not much to say about Krenko. He gets out of hand super fast if you let him live like 2 turns. The board state gets out of just whack. But very fun to play against. The most, I think the cheapest one I saw was $70 that someone made, but they had some of the higher price cards, which was one of the Purphoros, which is a $20 card. And overall, that deck just swarmed the board. He ended up going out second, and I ended up winning that game barely because someone else got rid of him, and I was able to just trample over all of his creatures. But very fun deck. A lot of people enjoy him. A lot of people go to him whenever they want a cheap commander, cheap deck. He's probably one of the best ones, in my opinion, next to Lightpaws. But last but not least, we're going to go on to green. Green being my favorite one. Not my favorite color, but my favorite one of the 5. So this one is called Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig. Much like Ayara, this one is green, green, green. Because I do believe Ayara and Yorvo came out in the same set, which is Throne of Eldraine, which came out in 2020, I believe. I might be wrong. It might be 2019. Anyways, legendary creature, Giant Noble. 0/0. 0 power, 0 toughness. Now you might think, well, in this game, if you have 0 toughness, you just die, right? The creature just dies. Well, Yorvo has 2 abilities. Yorvo enters with 4+1/+1 counters on him, which he comes in as a 4/4 essentially. Now, it says whenever another green creature you control enters, put a 1/1 on Yorvo. Then, if that creature's power is greater than Yorvo's power, put another 1/1 counter on Yorvo. This one is a lot like Ayara. If it's a green creature, throw it in. If it makes tokens, throw it in. That's literally how I made my deck. Sure, my deck's like $400, $500, but that's because I spent a lot of money on it. I spent a lot of money on the big cards. You do not need those expensive cards for him to get out of hand, him to get big. All you need is things that give him trample, and there's a lot of cards. There's one called, what is it? I think it's Cliff Top or something. Cliff Hoof Chieftain. It's a 7-drop card, but it gives all creatures attacking trample, and then I think indestructible as well. Like it's an insane card for like 30 cents. There are cheaper cards that do that. I do run some fogs in there, which basically prevents all combat damage, so you don't take anything away. But it's a lot like Ayara. Just put green creatures in. Sure, he's gonna get bigger than a lot of your green creatures, but you can also put things in that like say, oh, if this creature has a 1/1 counter on it, or if you place a 1/1 counter, you can easily make this deck for I would honestly say $40 or less. If I'm being honest, there are so many cards in green that make tokens or give 1/1 counters. You can easily make the deck for like less than 30 or $40. Less than $40. Easy. But with that being said, I do appreciate all of you for sticking around. Hopefully I did put the cards somewhere here. And yeah, like I said, I had this really good idea to kind of give you guys my opinion on what I believe to be the 5, like, not most budget friendly, but like 5 budget friendly ones that I've had experience playing against or playing with. And those are the 5 that I've played against or played with that actually, you don't need a lot of money to pilot them. You don't need a lot of money for them to do good. They just do good overall. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.